is my username. So when you see my name, the way you see my name spelled, you just go there. I'll share the link in the chat so you can share with other participants. Sting Media is from UAE and you want to say the opening prayer. Madam Grace.
Okay, let's humble ourselves. Maybe before we do that, Comrade Haman, a small message to confirm how long we're gonna be engaging, so people can anticipate how much time, since we are starting late. Okay. We need guidance on that. Yeah, and so in the meantime, let's have the individual from UAE open up with a prayer. Would we please humble ourselves and get started with a prayer? Thank you.
Opening prayer.
Hello, could anybody hear me?
Madam Grace.
Yes, let's humble ourselves. Yes.
Doreen, kindly, you are not muted here. So if you can do that, thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
So we are praying. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Ali Bikolwa. Sting Media is my blogging page. Okay, let's humble ourselves for a word of prayer. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Saba Allah olunaku at full meeting in Nonji. May Allah bless this day and bless this meeting and make it a meaningful and a blessed day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Comrade, for blessing us with that wonderful prayer. I just want to go over the housekeeping issues which we've mentioned. If you've just joined, we ask that now that we are really starting, please stay in your seats as much as you can. If you're not able to, turn off your video, and then control for interference, control for your background noise and all that stuff. And you're all going to be in a muted state. If you need to speak, then you'll be requested to unmute yourself. We're gonna have an interaction with the principal. Initially, is gonna give us an address, and then we'll have a question. Unfortunately, because we've started late, this whole engagement is going to last about an hour. So we would ask the co-hosts I did introduce earlier. I am going to introduce my co-hosts, Mr. Peter A. Kakoro from the UK. He's manning the Facebook Live, and he will be helping out with questions there. Ms. Doreen Kajumba from Toronto. She is going to be monitoring YouTube. Mr. Ainabione Haman will be monitoring the chat, questions from the chat room. And all those coordinators, Mr. Ainabione is our lead for the diaspora. I am called Grace Chibonica, resident in Washington State, in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. I welcome you all to this gathering. I do welcome our principal, and I hope that we have a fruitful interaction during this time. Thank you so much for your patience. I want to hand it over to the principal. Mr. Haman, are we ready to do that? Mr. Nabione, are we ready to do that?
Yes, as soon as he is unmuted,
Okay.
We should be ready to do that.
Thank you. Okay, so momentarily we're gonna be hearing from the principal's address, and when he's done, we'll transition right away to a question and answer session because we have our coordinators on YouTube, chat room, and Facebook, they'll be able to sift through some questions that he can, key questions that he can answer for us. Thank you so much. Once he's unmuted, we should be hearing from our principal.
Yes, he is actually unmuted, and Mr. President, you can kindly go ahead.
I'll go ahead and invite him. Okay. So again, this is Grace Chiboneka, moderator for today's session. I would like to invite, and maybe by show of gesture of clapping, we are inviting our principal, Honorable Robert Sentamu, Kyagulanyi Sentamu, to address us in this first, it's the second, but it's the real first one, NUP People Power Zoom meeting. Welcome.
Yes, comrade.
He's on the floor. If he's ready to go, we are ready to hear from him.
Yes. All right. We cannot hear your audio. We do not have audio on you, Comrade Kyagulanyi. We do not have audio, and I think we have lost video as well. Kindly set that up so that we can see you. We saw you for a tiny bit and you jumped off. So kindly come back. We see a black screen and we do not have audio. But yes, you are unmuted and the video should be there. All right. I'm going to reach the principal directly to see what the tech team is doing in Kampala. In the meantime, yes, I am live on Facebook. My Facebook name is Haman Ainebiona, and you can get the live video feed. So go ahead and share that with your friends. If they are unable to join us via Zoom, I will post the Zoom link again here as we wait for our incoming president. I will, in the meantime, request Mr. Peter to, to kindly introduce to us some of the chapters that he is aware about. As you know, the diaspora is very diverse. The NUP chapters are numerous, and we keep getting new recruits every I think every week. We introduce at least 3 new chapters. So I will request Comrade Peter Ekakoro to just quickly state the chapters that we have, and then maybe Doreen as well can add on the missed ones as we wait for the principal. They have texted me in Kampala and they tell me they're having a tiny bit of technical difficulty. Kindly share the link, and Mr. Peter Ekakoro just quickly walk us through some of the chapters you have. This is not a brain teaser, I promise you.
It's just an ambush, that's it. Anyway, so as far as I know, there are obviously so many chapters. And in terms of Europe, actually, the UK is like the hub chapter, but we have chapters in Scandinavia, that's in Sweden. I don't have all the details, and Norway and Denmark. Holland, we have an active group. If anybody's here, again, I know that that's a chapter coming up. The Republic of Ireland, again, have very active members, and those are all chapters still to come in. So basically, I can say we in the UK were like a pioneer chapter. So I'm just hoping that all the others are finally, we're going to support whoever is starting a new chapter to see that obviously they set up properly. Because the challenge of setting up a chapter is not just as easy as people getting together. It's actually having a structure and understanding how you're going to operate best. It's about having the right people who help to steer the chapter across. Because as I say, a chapter is more like any organization. If you don't put the right people in the right places, then you're not going to flow as you should. So as far as the UK is, yes, we have this, and the sister chapters are there. And as pioneers, I'm not saying we know the best or we're the best, but as pioneers, I think we're in a position to support other new chapters coming on board. And once again, obviously, you can go through Herman or you can come directly to us. Belinda Tim is our lead in the United Kingdom. She's the lead coordinator here, and then she got 4 of us under herself, and we work as a very sort of closely knit team. And I think I just hand it over to the US guys, because the US is very complicated and the same as Canada in terms of just not the geography alone, in terms of time zones and all that. So I just hand over to somebody in America.
A very smart move, Comrade Peter Ekakoro. I will welcome Doreen to go ahead and read to us the new chapters. Some of the former chapters, at least as of last week. We have a few more new chapters, but Comrade Doreen, I'm sure, will be telling us the chapters and the team leaders in those areas as we wait for Kampala to fix the tech issues. We apologize for the wait and we appreciate the patience. We now have 734 people on this meeting. So yes, we promised to increase the number. People were not happy last time. At least Madame Grace has done a good job, fixing her issues. Comrade Chagulanyi, I'm very happy to see you. I can see your face and I can hear you, but if you want to have a private conversation, I can mute you from here. But
I would love you to mute me so I can be able to address the entire population and all comrades around the world.
Okay, let me mute you for now as you address that technical glitch that you have, and then we'll, when you're ready, just signal me. In the meantime, we'll await Comrade Doreen. You can go ahead and have a private conversation with the team down in Kampala. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Herman. Yes, I'm going to read the different chapters we have. We have the Isaac. We have the Bahrain chapter led by Chiwumulo George. We have the Canada team led by Brenda Nakato and Doreen Kajumba. We have the China chapter led by Samson Ian. We have the Denmark chapter led by Henry Chitimbo. We have the Germany chapter led by Afrobalina Mutebi. We have the Ghana chapter led by Namata Serumaga. We have the Greece chapter led by Ronnie Chimuli. We have the Japan chapter led by Ronald Mutiaba.
Sorry, can I just interrupt? Sorry, can I interrupt a bit and say the principal is now live on Facebook as well?
Thank you, Comrade Peter. We have the Kenyan chapter led by Kibi Alex. We have the Netherlands chapter led by Susan Nabuti. We have the Norway chapter led by Lydia Adero. We have the Oman chapter led by Madivan Mohammed. We have the Sweden chapter led by Pamela. The South African chapter is led by Jaja Ibu. The UAE chapter is led by Patricia Mugisha. The UK chapter is led by Hood Sempewa. The USA Boston chapter is led by Dorothy Stewart. The California LA team is led by Mai Namakokido. The California San Francisco team is led by Aisha Mulumba Nachijoba. The Chicago team is led by Sophie and David Ntambi. Colorado team is led by Bena Nachicho. The DC team is led by Karim Ntambi. The Florida team is led by Zakayo. The Minnesota team is led by Charles and Winnie. The Seattle team is by Miss Robina Mukasa. Pennsylvania team is led by Tina Brown. The Texas team is led by Edward Abili, and the Dallas team is led by Hassan Chizito. Thank you very much, comrades.
Thank you, Doreen. I think I appreciate you, Madam Grace. The principal should be ready. Comrade Chagulani, if you can start that video, I've sent that request, and kindly unmute yourself so that we can be able to see you. Again, we appreciate the patience. I'll share the link in the chat room so that so it's going to be on Facebook, taking down the most important questions. Comrade Doreen Kajumba in Canada is going to be taking down the YouTube questions, and you, Madam Grace, and myself, you're going to be helping me. We are going to help each other and take down questions in the chat room. At some point, we'll have you know, we can open the floor up. If there are any team leaders, kindly part of this call, I expect that most of them are here. Kindly reach out and we can give you a minute or two, maybe at the end. But for now, Comrade Chagulani, if you can unmute yourself, I see you. And if you can unmute yourself, I'll be able not only to see you, but also to hear you. So I beg that you unmute yourself, or the tech guy is there. I imagine it's a huge team. The tech guy is there, unmute you on my behalf. I wish I could be there to help unmute. Kindly unmute the principal so that he can address us. You're welcome, Mr. President.
You need to fix this.
Comrade Chagulani, we can now hear you.
Yes, bro.
Thank you.
Just go.
You are live.
Thank you very much, Aman. I send you greetings to all of you, brothers and sisters, countrymen and women around the world. Please accept our challenges with technology, but at the same time, I'm requesting you to receive greetings from me, my family, and from your brothers and sisters here in Uganda, especially those foot soldiers, the gallant men and women who are involved in this struggle to liberate our country, Uganda. We salute you. I bring you greetings from them. Thank you very much for staying in the struggle against this fierce, this oppressive and dictatorial regime of President Museveni. Let me also start by sending sympathies to all our friends, all our fellow countrymen and women, you friends that have gone through challenges, those that have been sick, those that have been affected massively by the coronavirus pandemic. We have all, yes, been affected, but in a way, many Ugandans here and abroad have lost loved ones, and others are still grappling with the challenges that are brought about by the disruption of this coronavirus pandemic. Ugandans in the diaspora, just like at home, are facing these challenges. We stand with you, brothers and sisters, those that are stuck in countries without help. We pray for you, and we believe that God is also going to stand with us. I also want, in a very, very special way, want to applaud you, countrymen and women who have continued to support us in this struggle for freedom. Those that have supported financially, those that have supported psychologically, those that have supported morally and logistically. We salute you very, very much. We thank you. That we don't take for granted. Maybe if there were no people like you, we wouldn't, be as solid as we are. So we salute you. It is you that keep the energy within us, continue growing strong. I am also sure that there are those friends of us who are not necessarily Ugandans, the friends and supporters of Uganda, those who believe in what we are struggling for. Many of you are tuned in. I thank you. I can honestly not thank you enough for embracing our struggle, for feeling our pain, and for being part of us, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that what we're struggling for, one day we shall look back and, pat ourselves on the back and say, yeah, it was not in vain. We are indebted to you, ladies and gentlemen. We have no doubt that your faith in us shall eventually be vindicated. Now, I know that many of you left Uganda, friends, not because you want. You left Uganda because Uganda does not fit with your aspirations, because like I've been saying in the past, your minds are first world minds stuck in a third world country. Your opportunity and aspiration to live a decent life back at home are not catered for. You're working hard every day under the circumstances. We salute you. We also struggle to make things better, to make circumstances better for those people that you left home. And yes, maybe God willing, to give you people good reason to come back home for good, so that we can rebuild this, our country, together. And we know that is going to be possible, God willing. Friends, I intend today to address you on three things mainly. One, I want to address you on the status of our struggle. Two, I want to address you on what we stand to lose if we do not win. And three, what we can do together as a people, as a generation, as citizens. Now, regarding the status of our struggle, I want to give you assurance, like I've been giving you all along, that the balance of forces is in our favor. Ladies and gentlemen, all signs are very clear that Museveni is on his way out. From the east to the west, from the south to the north, you'll find all people resolved to, change their circumstances. Our people have never, in my memory, been as determined as they are today to free themselves from the oppression and the suppression that they go through today. Everywhere you go in this country, including, Western, deep in the West, places like Chiwuruhura, where President Museveni comes from, people are saying enough is enough. Just the other day I was meeting 4 women from Zimbabwe that were sharing with me. These women were from Chankwanzi. They were sharing with me. And yes, we continue to get people from different NRM strongholds. But these in particular that came from Chankwanzi, one of them was a widow of a fallen UPDF soldier. The late husband served both in the NRA and in the UPDF. But when the husband died, the woman has been moving every now and then to try and claim the husband's benefits. But as expected, she has been tossed, come back next month, come back the other month. And not just that, another story that I got from another woman was that she had just lost a sister. That sister died during the COVID times, fell sick, but she could not access healthcare. The nearest hospital was about 10 miles away. Now, without transport and all that, she witnessed the pain, directly. Now, that and more has happened all around the country. And you know, you notice that these and more are what are pushing our people to realize that all of us are suffering and all of us are slaves. This lady could not get even transport in the dead of the night, you know, to take her little sister to a health you know, facility where she could, you know, deliver. So she died in pain. Many stories have been narrated, and this only reminds us of the pains of a sick healthcare system. But again, these are the few people that I connect with. These are the few people that I get opportunity to interact with. But I'm sure all you comrades that get to talk to Ugandans from different walks of life, their stories give you more, you know, paint a more clear picture on why people are resolved to say Museveni must go. They tell on how they have previously supported the regime, and some of them have even helped in rigging elections for the regime, but in their own words and actions, they say they have helped to entrench a regime that now they find themselves so responsible to participate in the removal. I mean, they want to pay back by, you know, working so hard to stop a regime that they helped to bring up. Friends, the people of Uganda, old, young, men, women, from Acholi to Karamoja, from Chigezi to Sebei, from Bugisu to Lango, from Acholi to Busoga to Buganda, all places, all parts of this country, all regions of this country, all of them are ready for change. That is what gives us confidence. That is what makes us keep saying, Tewali Kuzikiza. Many Ugandans had given up hope. Many of them had resigned. They had given up to despair. But, you know, thanks to the emergence of people power, now everywhere you go, people are saying Mission 2021. People are geared up for change. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude this point again, I will re-emphasize that the balance of forces is in our favor. But what if we do not win? What if we fail? What does that mean? Friends, that means another 5 years under Museveni. It means another 5 years of oppression, another 5 years of pain, another 5 years of 18 mothers dying every day, another 5 years of more than 300 children dying every day, another 5 years of stinking corruption, stinking nepotism, stinking tribalism. It means more 5 years of repression, more 5 years of no assembly, more 5 years of closed places of worship, more 5 years of, you know, extrajudicial killings. That's what it means. 5 years under Museveni. It means that more Muslims are going to be targeted by the state. It means extreme violence against the opposition. It means targeting and suppression of whoever dares to speak up against the regime. That is what it means. 5 more years of Museveni means death. So now you must have heard that the government is trying to bring regulations targeting social media to make sure this that we are doing now does not happen anymore. It means that they will come to a time where they maybe have to give us a license to smile. So for us as the National Unity Platform, our promise to our country is renewed hope. We have, you know, a promise of a vision that is built on 5 strands. First, we want a people-centered governance. I mean, government, so the governance must be people-centered. We all know that Ugandans deserve a government that works for all citizens. We deserve a government Have you paused me? Have you taken me off? Why?
It's the Comrade Chagulanyi. It's the video that we lost. Actually, we maintained the audio feed, but we lost the video. I hope Tech can fix that quickly. Yes, we can hear you, Comrade Chagulanyi.
Yeah, camera.
Yes, let me
make him in the middle of an international.
I have muted you, Comrade Chagulanyi, and I hope that the tech people can quickly fix that that video feed loss. Yes, again, I hope you can hear me, and I hope I will ask my co-hosts to hear me. Peter Ekakoro is following the feeds on Facebook. Comrade Doreen Kajumba is following the questions on YouTube. Madame Grace Chiboneka is following the questions in the chat. And that is how we will be organized. Comrade Chagulanyi, as soon as you have video, I will, you know, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, and you can go ahead and complete your address. But in the meantime, I see people who are asking questions like in the chat room, at least. I hope Doreen has some questions, but I'll respond to some of the questions that I can respond to here in the chat room. People are asking who their coordinators are in the respective countries. People are asking, you know, who they reach out to. People are asking things like the plans after the election and the sort. But I will answer to diaspora related questions. There are, you know, almost 25 diaspora chapters, and, you know, they are issuing cards already. When you get a chance, reach out to them. Let me tell you how you find out who your diaspora coordinator is. There's a phone number. It's an American phone number. It is +1 857 719 4451. I, the diaspora team leader, I work with a team. Once you send a text message, we'll let you know who the coordinator in your locality is. So kindly WhatsApp that number, and we'll tell you who the team leader in that area is. Again, Madame Doreen, I don't know if you are seeing the questions. Madame Doreen, if you can unmute yourself. Are you seeing the questions on Facebook or YouTube?
Thank you, Comrade Haman. Yes, I think on YouTube under JB Muwonge's page.
Okay.
We've had most of them. Most of the participants are appreciating the president of the National Unity Platform for giving them hope. They had lost hope. There is a one in Dagire, Maureen, who has a 35-year-old and a 32-year-old who have never gone to Uganda because they've been killed their grandfather. And there is also one making a suggestion that there should be tight supervision in Kakuto, because there are a lot of refugee camps, and they always have voters crossing from Tanzania to vote. So yeah, they are making an emphasis that we should tighten the vote protection there. Yes, I've not yet seen other questions. Most of them are appreciations of the president giving them hope after 35 years of losing hope. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doreen. What's your, they say, what's your 20? Americans say, what's your 20? Comrade Peter Ekakoro.
Again, it's very interesting. The theme of hope seems to come out quite a lot. I could say out of 100, maybe get 80% talking about hope and renewed hope. And that's really interesting. But what I find really interesting is there are people who are basically say, oh, this one, I don't know if I put the principal, just make a comment, because academic papers of the Museveni seems to be coming up a lot on here. We want them to come out as well. The other thing that comes out is, just look at this, is the fact that it's the first time a leader has actually appreciated us in the diaspora, because nobody remembers when actually a lot of attention has been paid to us in the diaspora. So it's all really very, very positive. The other ones are questions that I'm going to put to the principal. On a lighter note, there are quite a number who say that they would really love the First Lady to come out and say hello to the people a bit. So that's one that comes out a lot as well.
That's exciting stuff. I hadn't even thought of that. I hope Comrade Chagulanyi, our principal, our incoming president, I can see him. I can see your live feed now. I'm very happy to see you again. I hope the tech guys can unmute you, and so you can go on and wind down your, go on and finish through your address before we get these questions. Comrade Peter and Comrade Doreen are very heated towards asking you questions. Comrade Grace, I'm sure she has some questions as well, but I hope they can unmute you, the tech guys, so that we can hear you, because we can clearly see you, which is very good. Thank you, Comrade.
Thank you very much. Hopefully you can hear me clearly. Comrade
Very clearly, yes.
I request that you bear with us, comrades. Every now and then we keep being interrupted by the network, but it's our hope and prayer that we'll be able to, finish our interaction, comrades. I was still addressing you on where we stand if we don't win this struggle, and also telling you what we stand for as the National Unity Platform, what our promise is to our country. I was briefing you that for us, what we promise is a renewed hope. And I was telling you that we have a promise of a vision built on 5 strands, but most importantly and firstly is a people-centered governance, well knowing that we as a country deserve much more than what we are being presented with. We deserve the country that works for all citizens. We deserve a government that respects the rights of all citizens. Uganda deserves a corruption-free government. We deserve a government that is a servant government to us, a government which does not, cover up murders of for criminals, a government which serves justice to all of us equally. We deserve fairness and equal opportunity, no matter what your first or last name is, no matter what your tribe is. We deserve a government where jobs are not given to people from one region, and there's no shame. We deserve to all be Ugandans and be proud of the fact that we are Ugandans. That is our first promise. Our second promise is equal access to quality services, especially healthcare and education. You all know we cannot, continue to live in a country where hundreds of thousands of children drop out of school and they're left for dead. We cannot live in a country where the government does not, care for children that are suffering from the nodding disease, a government which abandons thousands of children. For example, 7,000 children or even more have been defiled, abused during this lockdown. We don't see that as a top government priority. So we want a government that looks at that and sees it as a problem. We want to improve the healthcare services, just like in education. We must prioritize the welfare of our people instead of spending all this money in millions of dollars buying weapons to simply scare off our people, to intimidate our people. We must invest in these resources. We must invest in the people, have these resources, channeled to ventures that are going to be helpful to our people. bettering our education, make it still or skill oriented, better our arts and athletics, start viewing them like they're viewed in the developed world. And this, we have lived it, we feel it, and we know if we have the mandate, we shall fix it. Our third agenda point is inclusive economic development. What we have today is an economy that is owned by a few against the many. The few connected people, the few powerful people, they own the entire economy, while the majority are just, they are servants suffering in stinking poverty. You have seen it, you have witnessed it, ladies and gentlemen. We live in it every day today, and we're struggling to ensure that the people of Uganda come out of that stinking poverty. Whether one is a teacher, or one is a police officer, or one is a farmer, or one is a singer, or one is a boda rider, they all deserve to live a dignified life, because our country is endowed, ladies and gentlemen. So we have, to fix it. We also believe in national security and international relations. Countrymen and women, General Museveni is boasting of bringing security, but we all know, as we are taught by the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that peace is not only absence of war, but peace is the presence of justice. So if there's no justice, you cannot claim that there is peace. You cannot promise to ensure peace in Uganda simply by pacifying the situation. We must have ecological peace, we must have physical peace, and we must have economic peace. What is the use of us being at peace when we are not at peace with our neighbors? We only pretend with them. We must make sure we are at peace with neighbors. We must make sure there's no Cold War between us and our neighbors. We must not be warmongers like the current regime is. We must export peace in order to import peace. We must live in peace and harmony and in respect for our neighbors. We believe in that. Our fourth point is land, agriculture, and natural resources. You see, our country, we all know, is called the Pearl of Africa because it is endowed. We have natural resources that are sufficient to sustain our country and its people. But you know what? The problem is that General Museveni looks at Uganda as his personal property. He looks at Lake Victoria, Lake Narubali as his personal property. He looks at the oil in Bunyoro as his personal property. You have even heard him saying, my oil. He looks at the gold in all parts of Uganda as his personal property. And we must reverse this. We must, have all these resources belonging to Ugandans. Those in power must not take Ugandans for fools. We must make sure that all the natural resources of Ugandans are for the benefit of all Ugandans. Now, regarding land, we have noticed the rampant land evictions by the rich and the powerful. Here in Uganda, it has been even worse, done by those who are well connected, and this has been to the detriment of the poor. We must reverse this. So with this in mind, comrades, let us do everything within our power to make sure that we win. We must stop, we must dismantle, we must dislodge this dictatorship led by General Museveni, or else our children and their children and their children will never ever forgive us. Generations that come will continue to ask us what we did when our country was going, to the dogs. So at this point, let us continuously ask ourselves this question: are we doing enough? Are we doing what we must do? And are we doing it with all our might? So what must we do? There is quite a lot that we must do, quite a lot. But I mean, every little thing that you can do, do it and do all of it. One, support this struggle. There are those friends who are supporting the ground soldiers, assisting them with posters, assisting them with transport, with fuel, assisting them with materials. Please continue and do it even more. Those people do a lot of work. Those that are supporting the foot soldiers, go on ground, do it. Those that support them secretly and publicly, please continue. There are those that support our secretariat. Please go ahead and do it. You know, there are those that are petitioning the United Nations and the European Union and other international bodies and organizations. Continue doing it, brothers and sisters. There are those that are always guiding us on our policy development. Do not stop. We don't need only financial assistance. We also need, you know, intellectual assistance. There are those that are collecting evidence of things against humanity. To take Journal 7 to the ICC, together him and his tenants. And please don't stop. Please don't stop.
Comrade Chagulanyi, there was Comrade Chagulanyi. There has been, Mr. President.
It will be painful.
Yes, Mr. President, I know you can, I know you are in the middle. I don't know if you can hear me, but your sound has died off. Comrade Peter Ekakoro. Comrade Peter Ekakoro, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Thank you.
Please let him, comrades in Kampala, kindly be aware that the team, I know that tech team is watching live. The audio has died out, and he's still talking. Let's see.
Yeah, it's on Facebook. It's still live. It's going on. Yes.
Yeah. Is it audible on Facebook?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Is it completely audible on Facebook?
Yes.
One day we're going to all agree that it
oh, okay. Let me.
Are steps to stop us, but we know that the Almighty God is fighting alongside us. We shall win because we must win. Don't stop doing what you're doing. Let us push on hard. Let us do what we must do. Let me also finally mention to you that soon it will be nominations for the presidential candidates, members of parliament, and all other positions in governance. And we have been preparing, we've been going through the vetting process. It still continues, and soon we shall come out to unveil to you the candidates that are going to carry the National Unity Platform. We know it has been tasking in the face of regime crackdown, in the face of regime sabotage, in the face of arrests. You all know that the regime has been arresting our people constantly, accusing them of, our people, our agents that go town to town, door to door, region to region, registering members of the National Unity Platform and People Power Movement. But again, the regime has gone ahead to arrest them, accusing them of apparently recruiting rebels. We are not giving up. We are continuing the struggle. We encourage you to continue supporting us, ladies and gentlemen. I can only promise you that we shall not give up. And if with your help, with your support, financial, moral, psychological, logistical, and otherwise, we are definitely going to win this struggle. I want to thank you. I salute you, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to give you a brief of what is happening home, but I also want to interact with you, and I will request my tech team to allow in comrades that would love to ask questions. I know some of you are on Zoom, while others are on Facebook. Kindly send in your questions. Let's interact. And for those that would like to also, submit and chip in and give a few thoughts, you are most welcome. I thank you and I salute you for God and my country. People power, our power. Our power, people power.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think there was a tech glitch on my end. I think that Comrade Doreen Kajumba, if she is ready, or Madam Grace can take
so
over.
I'll probably kick it off. I can kick it off and just expressing sincere appreciation from our principal. You inspire us every day, and you have helped put this idea in context for us. Imagine a 5-year term of Mr. Museveni, an additional 5-year term of Mr. Museveni. What would that look like? So that is a really great question, but we have had very positive, encouraging messages from the chat. And I think my colleagues monitoring the YouTube and the Facebook will reiterate, people are encouraged, people are in support, they are praying for you, and they are praying for all of us in the struggle. And they say that they are proud of you. Thank you so much for awakening the youth to really see what role they can play and how this country is theirs. So general questions, Comrade Ainebione, I have noticed in our chat room around safeguarding the vote. And these are questions, this goes to the principal. What thoughts do you have around safeguarding the vote from the polling station to the tally centers? Because that is where most of the vote rigging happens. What kind of infrastructure is being put in place? There are still related questions around cutting off social media. Again, what kinds of plans or thoughts are being put in place? You may address this the best way you can, maybe without necessarily delving into that detail, but people are clamoring to understand what plans they are. The other related question is recognizing that the system of election is already rigged based on the recent revelation that majority of presiding officers are people from the same house. The polling precincts are limited in populated centers and more available for those that are less populated. So that means access to voting and ability to exercising the vote for individuals in populated areas is going to be restricted. So if you can, in a nutshell, wrap your responses around that, that will help kick off the question and answer discussion. I hope you had these questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you will allow me, maybe I will be responding to maybe 1 or 2 questions at a time, so we can be able to make this more interactive. Thank you, Doreen. This has been on everybody's mind. What are our thoughts on vote guarding? This is in 3 phases. First and foremost, our mission was to create enough awareness and enough interest on the electioneering of our country. You will remember that in the past, Ugandans, especially young people, were greatly disconnected from the elections. So when people power came in, we wanted people to exercise their power. But again, that power is supposed to constitutionally be exercised through a vote, where we know that our constitution provides for all Ugandans doing whatever they can within their power to ensure that the constitution is respected. And that explains why in the back we try to fight for the constitution. Unfortunately, it was amended by force of arms. However, here we are now. One, our first step was to sensitize people, make them aware of their power, make them actually know that their voice counts, their vote counts. Their voice counts, but it only counts through their vote. And their vote can only count if it is respected, if it is followed up, if it is guarded. You cannot guard a vote that you've not cast. So we encouraged all Ugandans to register as voters and get their national ID, Ndagamuntu. I am glad to report to you that massive numbers of new voters were registered, and we are confident that those are people that are registered because they want to see a difference through a vote. Now we are going through the campaigns. We continue to encourage all Ugandans, and that is why I saluted you, comrades, that are facilitating foot soldiers that go on ground. They go with our posters, sending our message down, encouraging people to vote, but also showing them who and what to vote for. I have presented myself. I'm glad to report to you that the nation has massively welcomed my candidature. And yes, they stand for the same values that we stand for. Now, coming to the day of election, we encourage people to come out in massive numbers and vote. You notice that it has always not been in the interest of the regime for Ugandans to massively come out and vote. We want the numbers to be staggering. Coming now directly to the question, what happens after we cast the vote? We have told it to the Ugandans, and we continue to tell them that they themselves are the ones that are going to guard the vote. The same way we did it in Chadondo, we tried it in Jinja, in Rukunjiri, we tried it in Bujiri, and also in Arua, and it worked. Ugandans will come out, cast their vote, and not leave the polling stations, because it does not break any law for Ugandans to be around and see the votes being counted. So the people of Uganda will be there. We are encouraging them. We are teaching them. We are sensitizing them. Our foot soldiers are moving on the ground, sensitizing the people that casting the vote alone is not enough. They must follow it up. This is only one day that all of us are dedicating as a country. Now, after counting that vote, there will be no magic that will be applied, because we will know the numbers. We will know what every candidate has gotten on every polling station. There has been fears that the regime will announce a different result from the election. I disagree with that. I tell Ugandans to go ahead and vote, because if President Museveni tries to play around with the voices of the people are being sensitized to resist that. And yes, our people are picking the message and the solid. So we know that this time around, if we do what we intend to do, this time around, if we come out in massive numbers, cast our votes and be there, the vote will be too huge for President Museveni and his machinations to mess with. And that is the guarantee that we give all Ugandans, because we all are going to be involved in it as Ugandans. As per the second question, there's a narrative that is being cast that the election is already rigged, because it's clear that the Electoral Commission that is led by Mr. Byabakama is not honest. You all saw recently when a city lawyer came out to demand that the Electoral Commission provides my education credentials. And yes, the Electoral Commission wasted no time and provided my academic records. Another city lawyer came out and petitioned the Electoral Commission to provide to him President Museveni's academic credentials. It is funny, it is absurd, it is shameful that Mr. Byabakama, the same leader of the Electoral Commission, who was very quick to release my academic qualification, has up to today refused to produce President Museveni's academic qualifications. That sends two suspicions out. Either President Museveni actually does not have the academic qualifications that qualify him to run for president, because in any case, when he took over the reins of power in 1986, he did not provide his academic qualifications. He did not go to be screened whether or not he qualifies to run for president. He just picked up a gun. He and his fellow bandits went on a killing spree. And at the end of the day, he was in State House. So Ugandans continue to join this lawyer called Mwada Nkonyenji to demand for President Museveni's academic qualifications. And the failure so far for the Electoral Commission to heed to the law when it comes to President Museveni, when they had to respect the law when it was about Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, continues to cast doubts of their ability of the Electoral Commission to conduct a free and fair election. Also very important to note is that the day National Unity Platform was unveiled, the top leaders of the top officials from the Electoral Commission were fired, including the spokesperson, Mr. Jotham Taremwa. Now, Mr. Byabakama came out and lied with his eyes open that these people had actually not been fired, but they had taken leave. It is until Mr. Museveni came out and confirmed in his own words that he actually had fired these people, that what we said was confirmed, that yes, these people had been fired by President Museveni because they apparently slept on the job, and the Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ended up having or belonging to a party called the National Unity Platform. Now, these double standards, this fact that exposes the head of the Electoral Commission, who was a judge, exposing him as a blatant liar, still communicates to us that there will be no honesty, there will be no transparency in this election. But again, we also bank on the words of former President Idi Amin, who told the Ugandan boxers who were going for a fight to represent Uganda. They complained to him that the referees from developed countries were always one-sided and did not give them win even when they had won. He guided them to always win by knockout. We intend, ladies and gentlemen, to win by knockout. And that is why we encourage millions upon millions of people, especially the young people, to come out and vote, cast your vote, protect your vote, watch it as it's being counted, and then the regime led by President Museveni will have no excuse but to see the exit. I thank you, Doreen, and I hope I have responded to you fully.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think I'm going to call upon at this moment, Peter. I think that was Madame Grace who was shooting those questions.
Yes, that was me. I think we can transition to someone else, Doreen or Mr. Ikakuro. Thank you.
Okay. We'll do two questions.
Maybe Comrade Haman, I know that when we interact with the comrades in the diaspora, questions are going to be in their loads. In the interest of time, because I don't intend to hold people so long on Facebook here, I would request that we have maybe 2 or 3 more questions. I noticed that people are firing 4 questions in one, 2 questions in one, but I'm also confident that our diaspora leader has the ability to encourage them to summarize so they can attend to them in the time that we have. Thank you.
All right. Actually, I'm going to go off script, Mr. President, if you may allow. I want to unmute 2 or 3 people. I'm going to unmute 3 people to make this more interactive. This is a people's movement. I want to allow. We have 642 participants. Now I'm going to pick out 3 participants from the Zoom conference call so that you can hear the questions from themselves. Now the instructions are going to be that you ask a question, you don't make a statement. Ask 1 or 2 questions. You just ask 1 question. -- question mark, and that's it. If you go past a question and start explaining your question, I will unfortunately have to mute you for the interest of time and to accommodate this. I'm going to read out these names randomly. I think I'll have Mr. Abdallah Katende, who has his hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute. I'm going to send you an unmute request. As soon as you accept that unmute, go ahead and fire your question to our president so that you get that opportunity to interact with him. After that, I'll ask Mr. Osamuel Ogidi. I'll ask him to unmute and then go ahead and fire the question. Then I'll ask one last person so that it is not a leader to leader conversation, but people to to their incoming president's conversation. I apologize that this was not part of the plan, but I feel compelled to do this. Thank you.
To hijack.
All right. So, Mr. Abdallah Katende, I've sent you an unmute request. Kindly accept that request and go ahead and fire your question. We'll give you a second to do that. I'm also going to send an unmute request to Mr. Ogidi Osamuel. Kindly unmute yourself, accept that unmute request so that you can fire your question. You had your hand up for a long time. Awesome. Yes, that is Comrade Abdallah Katende. Kindly state where you are from and ask your question.
Yes, my name is Abdullah Katende.
Yes, sir.
I'm from Qatar.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah. So my question is, according to what is going on with the brothers on ground,
yes,
it is seen that very many being arrested and tortured.
Yes.
Well and good for the regime that is its way of work.
Okay.
But I request the president,
yes,
to put in every place,
yes,
a law enforcement group to work upon this.
You mean
whoever is arrested?
You mean a legal team?
Yes.
Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Because whenever there is okay. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. I think Abdallah Katende was simply giving a suggestion, but I see Mr. Osamuel. I think the president himself has taken down that suggestion. Kindly mute yourself, Mr. Abdallah. Thank you for that question. I'll ask Mr. Osamuel Ogidi to go ahead and fire his question. I'll take 2 more questions or 2 more suggestions from the people who are participating, and so that we can let the principal go. Mr. Osamuel Ogidi, are you there? We can see a curtain, but I hope I can see your face.
Thank you very much, moderator. Thank you very much, moderator.
Yes, where are you located? And go ahead and fire your question.
From the UAE.
You're in the UAE? I think you have a second live stream, which is making it difficult for me to hear you, or for us to hear you.
All right. Ask him to mute, to lower his volume.
Go ahead, comrade.
All right. To ask Mr. President, what infrastructure does he have in all constituencies as far as the database of all the registers is concerned and the polling stations?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Ogidi.
So, is there any effective procedure method that he has in order to take over government if in case of any resistance?
I think your service is a little bit difficult. I'm going to ask the president to respond to those 2 concerns. Mr. Ogidi, thank you very much. Mr. President, the question, the suggestion by Comrade Abdallah was that you have a legal team in the different regions. And then also Mr. Ogidi asked that, is there an infrastructure in place at polling stations in regards to the election? And then I'll have 2 more questions, and then maybe our comrades on Facebook can go ahead and close up. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Comrade Haman. I thank you, Comrade Katende from Qatar. Yeah, indeed, there has been wanton arrests, wanton tortures against our colleagues. The young men and women continue to face it rough. And it's sad with the women because the regime is targeting their dignity. However, we salute those that continue to hold fort. Now, I must update you that we have a legal team, and I thank the leadership of that legal team, Council Anthony Wameri and Council Shamim Malende, together with your teams. You have done an amazing, amazing job. We thank the former leader of our legal team, Comrade Benjamin Katana, and the team that has done an enormous job. But again, ever since he handed to Comrade Wameli has continued to do a good team. We salute them. However, we continue to face challenges, comrades, because we are battling with an entire state. They have a lot of money, and they know that by dragging us with senseless court cases, they are taking away our valuable time. We continue to appeal to those fellow Ugandans that can assist legally, those young lawyers that can give their time, anything that you can give, be it your time, be it your legal services. We need them because this is a mass struggle, this is a revolution, and we need the constant assistance. But as of now, we still have a team of lawyers, and we are scattered in different regions of Uganda. We continue to expand to make sure we can reach out to our foot soldiers, to our comrades who continue being arrested and arraigned before court. Yes, Comrade Ogidi was asking whether we have an infrastructure to handle the polling day. We continue to build it. And even right now, I'm appealing to those who are in Uganda that can offer them their services, that can volunteer. We are mainly operating on a voluntary basis. For those that have been sponsoring our foot soldiers, I know different individuals in the diaspora are not only sponsoring our foot soldiers to go on ground, recruit people that are going to preach our message, but also to sensitize and teach those that are going to work as polling assistant, agents, and vote gatherers. We encourage you to go ahead. We salute you. We thank you because you don't only facilitate them, but you also supervise them. Like I've always been saying, comrades, this is a rubber dog style. Everybody can do something, even if it is supervising from where you are. Facilitate these young people and supervise them. Let them report to you. Let them give you an accountability of their work. Let us do this all together. While the regime focuses on Chagulanyi, you are doing great work. While the regime focuses on the National Unity Platform and People Power Secretariat, the work is ongoing and is being supervised by people, not even in Uganda, but in the diaspora. So you can do quite a lot. While we try to do what we can on ground, we know that you're also doing great to help the people and to help the struggle. Now, if I could have one round of questions, Comrade Haman.
Yes, I apologize for holding the people. We have 607 participants, so you're making my job very not easy. I'll ask Comrade Allen Tumukunde. She raised her hand. She has had a hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute and ask your question. I've sent you an unmute request. Comrade Allen Tumukunde, if you can accept that. I see Maureen Peace or Proscovia. Is it Allen Tumukunde unmuted?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay. Oh, yes, nice to see you. I'm also, just before you go, I'm going to ask Maureen Peace to unmute herself, and then the last one will be Proscovia's iPhone. Those are the people who had their hand up, and go on, Madam Allen Tumukunde.
Yes, Mr. Amon, thanks so much for giving me this chance. I take this opportunity to welcome my president, my principal. Since I'm in diaspora, I will specifically ask questions in diaspora
Which part of the diaspora are you, Alan?
I'm in UAE, Abu Dhabi.
Thank you.
I'm an executive, Abu Dhabi. I would take this chance to ask the question concerning the diaspora so that the principal can help us and clarify more to us. We have a challenge right now. We have 3 stages where we've reached. We need 3 things. One, we need money to facilitate the struggle.
Madam Allen, I'm going to request that we ask a question in a sentence so that we can give other people an opportunity.
I get your points. Mr. Amon, I want to ask Mr. Chagulanyi. He said specifically when he's releasing the NOB cards, they are going straight away to the coordinators. But to our understanding, some people are getting cards and they are not coordinators. What do you say about that?
Okay, thank you, Madam Allen. Thank you very much.
I would love to tell the principal, he launched Mudaku Muda purposely only in Kamucha. Could he expand it more for us or in diaspora areas so that we can also go on with Mudaku Muda?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Allen.
You're welcome.
Madam Proscovia's iPhone, kindly unmute yourself and ask the president a question. And then Maureen Peace, if you can unmute yourself. Maureen Peace or Proscovia's iPhone, one of the two. If not, meanwhile, the president can go ahead and respond to that concern, or I can respond being the team leader of the diaspora, depending on what his preference is.
Thank you very much. If you allow me, I would love to respond to them, and when I leave you in charge, then you can assume full powers and enjoy. But as long as I'm still sitting here, why don't I still be using that word that they say Entebbe Oma? Yeah. Do we have anybody online, or should I go on, Comrade?
Yeah, I think Maureen Peace is unmuted. She can go on and turn her video on so that she can ask a question, and then you can respond to those two concerns. Maureen Peace.
Thank you, Comrade Haman.
Yes.
Hello, are you getting me?
Where are you? Which country are you from?
I'm in Uganda.
Oh.
I'm calling from Mukayunga.
I am.
Yeah, but I just wanted to give this opportunity to another person from a different country, because I personally can reach the president and ask you, thank you. I'll come to your inbox.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Peter, kindly go ahead and ask a question, since you had a plan to ask a question from Facebook.
Oh, can I say there's so many comments, but as the principal said, people are saying to us that stop calling the principal comrade, start calling him president. So that's the overall theme coming out from Facebook, which is very interesting. So that's up to the principal or comrade to take it up. Let me just continue. There are a number of comments, but I'll just summarize them because of time. There is, say, somebody from Jamaica who says, how can they help with the campaign because they want to be part of the history? And they're saying at the same time, I think this probably go to our policy team, not for you to answer really. We need to have policies in there that sort of attract, like Ghana's done, or attracting other Africans who are not born in Africa to come and settle and invest in Uganda. So that I won't expect you to answer, we'll spend the policy team. The specific questions that actually probably I really want to put is, I have had a number of questions from the Middle East. There's one Dorcas Nakiwa and one Nanyunja Fiona, who say, what do we have? What does NUP have in terms of the suffering of people in the Middle East? Really, how and when is that going to be, how are they going to be helped? I think that's one that I really have to put to you. The other one is a compliment again. They're saying, thank you very much. The vetting process is excellent and transparent and will give us very good leadership. The other one is from somebody from Ghana who says, apart from talking about Ugandan change, you also need to think more about the whole African continent. Effectively, what Museveni has been saying about Pan-Africanism and actually moving nowhere with it. It's like a theme of, it's a song actually about East Africa, Uganda, East Africa, Pan-Africa, but actually 35 years, where is it gone? I don't know. I'll leave it there.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you, comrade Peter. Mr. President, as I've been directed, you go ahead and respond to those two concerns, and then we can wrap this up so that we can let people go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Haman. I appreciate Comrade Peter for the love and respect and all the airs, but I wouldn't mind being called comrade, because before I'm in the presidential chair, I'd love to still enjoy the comradeship. In any case, I really want to be a servant leader. So even when I'm president, I would love to be called comrade president. Now, apart from the different compliments, Comrade Peter raises two important questions, and I'll answer them in one. One about the suffering of Ugandans. He singled out those in the Middle East, but I'm aware that Ugandans continue to suffer in very many different countries. It's very unfortunate that many of them have died and they're even buried there. Why? Because our country does not see it as priority. For as long as President Museveni is still in power, everything else is secondary. And that should sink in our minds and hearts. We should understand it, that we as Ugandans actually do not matter to President Museveni and his cronies. It explains why we had all the ability to repatriate Ugandans that were being dehumanized in China on account of their skin color. But the government of Uganda stubbornly closed the airport. And yes, our brothers and sisters are still there. It was after a lot of noise that a few, lucky Ugandans were picked from wherever they were. Even when the airport was still closed, you saw that the tycoons, the mighty and powerful of our country, were able to come back to their country. We also know that an ambassador was buried in Saudi Arabia recently, was not brought back to be buried by his, together with his ancestors, by his people. So I'm sad to mention that the suffering of Ugandans will continue until we put an end to the Museveni misrule. That is the only solution to put an end to the separation and all the, the vices that are ongoing in our country. The solution, the medicine lies in putting an end to the Museveni dictatorship, which we shall soon accomplish, put an end to. And yes, on the stand of Pan-Africanism, we talk about Uganda because that is where we are. As of now, that is the only place we can dare to change. And after that, we'll of course dare to change the whole of Africa, because like Kwame Nkrumah said, Africa cannot be free until all of Africa is free. The dictatorship that is in Uganda has a bearing on the lives of other Africans. And yes, the freedom of Uganda will have a huge bearing on the rest of Africa. President Museveni has many times boasted of being a Pan-African, but what kind of Pan-African leaves fellow Africans to be mistreated simply because they are black and you cannot even allow them come back home? What kind of Pan-African, goes around mongering wars, with neighbors, goes around destabilizing countries around us, instigating civil war in those countries, and yes, creating refugee crises around the world, only to benefit from those refugee influxes? So we want to, uplift Pan-Africanism in the real meaning of Pan-Africanism. The East African community, for example, must not be a club of presidents. No, it must be with the people We must share values. We must share aspirations. We must share goals as a people, not as leaders. What kind of Pan-African does not see value in the next generation? Instead of uplifting the next generation, he is trying to suffocate the next generation. And yet Africa survives on the posterity of Africa. The African tribe where I come from, the Baganda, they have a saying that emiti emito yejugumiza ekibira. It is the young trees that will make the African forest thick and strong. Unfortunately, with President Museveni, he's trying to eliminate all the good trees that are in the African forest. Therefore, he, in his actions, is trying to destroy Africa under the pretext of Pan-Africanism. We are the real Pan-Africans. We are the generation that is borderless, that is limitless, that is tribeless, that is religionless. Our religion is Africa. Our tribe is Africa. Our desire is Africa, uniting Africa and making sure that Africa in this time as an era realizes her full potential. We are the true sons and daughters of Wakanda, aka Uganda, aka Africa. Thank you. So with those few remarks, Comrade Haman, I want to salute all the comrades. I want to salute all of you for being there. I want to thank you for being present in huge numbers. We apologize for the technological glitches that we encountered. We apologize for coming on late. You see, we are trying it under the circumstances because you know that we cannot freely access radio stations or TV stations, so we depend on the internet. We hope to, do this much more regularly in a more stable situation, so we can be able to communicate with you, ladies and gentlemen, to keep you filled in, to keep you connected to home. We are living in a time of an era where everything is possible. So we as a generation, we must maximize that. I want to thank you, and yes, I've already promised that I will be regularly coming to connect with you. I've already told you that we are banking on the internet. We want to use the internet before they black it out. You have seen the regime here in Uganda is plotting to completely shut our mouths, to completely shut out the internet. You've seen that they want us to get licenses for expressing ourselves on our own social media pages. So we're trying to use it before they succeed in blocking it. Already, they cannot allow us to appear on radio stations outside Kampala. Why? Because they are scared of the message of liberation that we bring to the people of Kampala, of the people of Uganda, the people of Africa. Let us continue. I encourage you to continue using social media. Kindly continue funding our activities. Continue funding the efforts to liberate our country. We need posters. We need paraphernalia. We need stickers. We need banners. And yes, we have the Modaku Moda campaign that the comrade talked about. It's still ongoing. We have a cash app that I will share with you on the screen. But again, I will also share with you the cash app here. It is People Power UG, and the number is +185 771 94451. I'll say it again, +185 771 94451. That is our cash app. Also, our fundraising platform, kindly allow me to read it to you. It is https://peoplepower.org.ug/donate. Kindly reach us on that and facilitate our activities. We also have a mobile money account in the name of Daniel Oriot. In fact, there are two. They are both in the names of Daniel Oyerwot. One is 0703 636363, and another is 0787 336363. Kindly reach out us on those contacts, but also I encourage you those that have direct contact with our comrades, with our foot soldiers, continue empowering them, but again, continue holding them accountable. Let us do this together because we can do it together, comrades. I thank you, I salute you, and I pray to the Almighty God to keep you alive and strong so that we all can come together to celebrate the downfall of a brutal dictator called Yoweri Museveni, as we embrace a new Uganda, a Uganda that will make us proud to be called the Ugandans, a Uganda which we will exist and will move in those countries in the street feeling proud to be called Ugandans. We shall hold our flag, black, yellow, red, with pride. We shall sing with our national anthem with no shaky voices. We shall truly be Ugandans. We shall be proud of that country because it is our own confidence, it is our sufferation, it is our tears and sweat that will have built that country called Uganda. Don't give up, my brothers and sisters. Don't grow tired. Don't give up. Let's keep going. One great man said, tears and sweat, they are both salty, but one gives you sympathy, the other gives you victory. Let us choose sweat over tears. Let us stand firm, stand together, and together we shall liberate this our country called Uganda. I salute you and I thank you for listening to me. I thank you for being on for God and my country. People power, our power. Our power, people power.
People everywhere. Everywhere. NUP. Comrade, Honorable
Can I sing a song as I sign out?
Mr. President, I'm going to unmute the comrades to give our mubala, our mubala, and so that we can all say people power in one spirit before you leave.
Certainly.
Okay, go ahead and guide us. Many comrades can now unmute themselves so that we can all say people power.
Hi all. Love you, President. Thank you so much.
Kampala.
Time member.
Mutachali mu Kampala tuliyamba.
That you can join us next week. Everywhere.
Our power. It is Chaba Banshe.
Comrades, I thank you very much for your engagements and your involvement. I will allow all of you to go on. We can't hear you anymore. I've muted all participants, but thank you very much. And
UG my mama land, wake up, wake up. UG my fatherland, wake up, wake up. Well, it was 9th of October 1962 when our nation was born, beautiful and endowed with the promise of democracy, with unity in diversity, different tribes, different religions, but coming together to form a nation that will make life better for the future generations. Well, indeed, we are that generation. We are the grandchildren of the independence generation, and oh yes, we are the grandparents of the future generations. So we must come together to find solutions. Since our leaders don't care about the next generation, all they care about is the next general election, which they also want to rig. We are the country, we are the future, we are the change we badly need. We are the youngest population in the world, we stand a chance. We are the leaders of the future, and the future is today. If we only come together, we can change our destiny. Opima kuche tuli ochiraba we tuli, si we tuli na okuba Uganda. Ati bomanga we basensa balero sisimuka tulika wadde kyategwanga twakiraba nti kiki temwakola eyali omuto oluli abuuse ng'emyaka giyise kati yeffe emiti emito kuba olabe nga twejuna gwe muti omuto oyibuba olabe nga wejuna saba wenjigire mu bikolwa byolaba naawe ebinyuna ensiyo oleme byakunda kumbali kuloba ensi ng'ewaba ogiraba oleme nakuba walayise eddembe lyo terigulwa bunusu yagala okimanye mutima betutya yeffe be basinga okutya Uganda. We are the youngest population in the world. We stand a chance. We are the leaders of the future, and the future is today. If we only come together, we can change our destiny. If we only come together, we can change our destiny. If we only come together, we can chase this man away. If we only come together, we can chase this man away. If we only come together, we can chase this man away. UG my mama land, wake up. UG my fatherland, wake up. Well, it was 9th of October 1962 when our nation was born, beautiful and endowed with the promise of democracy, with unity in diversity, different tribes, different religions, but coming together to form a nation that will make life better for the future generations. Well, indeed, we are that generation. We are the grandchildren of the independence generation, and oh yes, we are the grandparents of the future generations. So we must come together to find solutions. Since our leaders don't care about the next generation, all they care about is the next general election, which they also want to rig. We are the country, we are the future, we are the change we badly need. We are the youngest population in the world, we stand a chance. We are the leaders of the future, and the future is today. If we only come together, we can change our destiny. Opima kuche tuli ochiraba wetuli, si wetuli na okuba Uganda.
Zuku kama
kati bw'obanga weebasensa balero sisimuka tuligambe ekyatekwanga twakiraba nti kiki temwakola eyali omuto oluli abuuse ng'emyaka giyise kati yeffe emiti emito kuba olabe nga twejuna gwe muti omuto oyivuba olabe nga wejuna saba wenjigire mu bikolwa byolaba naawe ebinyuna ensiyo oneme byakunda kumbali kuloba ensi ng'ewaba ogiraba oneme nakuba walayise eddembe lyo terigulwa bunusu yagala okimanye mutima betuta yeffe be basingawo okutya Uganda. We are the youngest population in the world. We stand a chance. We are the leaders of the future, and the future is today. If we only come together, we can change our destiny. If we only come together, we can change our destiny. If we only come together, we can chase this man away. If we only come together, we can chase this man away. Kati bw'obanga weebasensa balero sisimuka
Bannayuganda tubadde bubi olw'abafuzi abatukiikirira naye Katonda twamusabye n'atuukiriza kye twamusaba. Twamusaba omuntu omukozi n'atuleetera n'atulina anaatutwalira ng'ensonga mu nsi yonna anaagibunya ate mutamuteera atayosa ndowooza nammwe mwamulabye. Bobiwine mumuwa obululu yagenda otukulaakulanya agenda kusooka na byabulamu mukenkufu alina digiri mwabanyaga eddagala malwalira n'akigeza ajja gwambuzibu olwazeeko ebyobulimi gw'osobola otya okufuga omuyala eby'enjigiriza ajja kulwana nnyo n'ezo basale ng'azigaba sikolashipu ne bamulekwa yewadde yajja kuyamba nnyo ate ajja kufa nnyo kuba wansi n'enguudo okuziyooyoota abadde ag'amazzi amayonjo yagenda okugabunya eggwanga amasannyalaze zigatalinatuuka yagenda okugatuusaayo twamufunye asobola. Bannayuganda tusse kimu era nga bw'omanye kuyege kati nze naawe n'oli olwaleero nga bawa mugezi Bobiwine ono tumuwagire nnyo yagenda otukulaakulanya. Bobiwine yezira abeegasse abawa ssente abasindika bw'ayagala kulona omulimi weekwate Bobi amalako mu byesimbya nti takyasabirwa mwegatte babawa omudidi abavubuka banoonya emirimu mwetegeke waliwo akaama ebweru ajjanga agenda amawanga agenda okusaka amawanga agannaggwa dda gajje wano gatuwa omudidi abavubuka banoonya emirimu mwetegeke waliwo akaama amakolero gajja kubeerukana mu bavubuka mufune emirimu ekyebbeeyi kiba kya bbeeyi mukene tatemwamunga mpuuta ekyebbeeyi kiba kya bbeeyi kamulabitawo manga nsujju musajja mufumbo si muwulu omukyalo oweeka mulina ate ekirungi yamujja eri wano mu Buganda bubeera buko akabonero kalina akumbi bw'olimba wonga yeekoola ennyondo balina ekoona kyokka ffe tufunye ekuula abantu mwebeereremu Bobiwine muwakalibu kwataka bw'oyoonowani agenda tukulaakulanya sente eza kolono bazirese Bobiwine ye yazizaayo n'olwekyo tumuwa akalulu yasaanira otukulaakulanya twamufunye asobola. Bannayuganda tusse kimu era nga bw'omanye kuyege kati nze naawe n'oli olwaleero nga bawa amagezi Bobiwine ono tumuwagire nnyo agenda otukulaakulanya temunenya byatategedde mumanyise amanye ensonga abafudde ajja kuziikanga n'amabuga ajja kutoolanga mwabalema abaliko obulemu yagenda okubayamba ennyo nawe omulwadde ow'akawuka ojja kwongera okufuna eddagala twamufunye asobola. Bannayuganda tusse kimu era nga bw'omanye kuyege kati nze naawe n'oli olwaleero nga bawa amagezi Bobiwine ono tumuwagire nnyo yagenda otukulaakulanya. Bannayuganda tubadde bubi olw'abafuzi abatukiikirira naye Katonda twamusabye n'atuukiriza kye twamusaba. Twamusaba omuntu omukozi n'atuleetera n'atulina anaatutwalira ng'ensonga mu nsi yonna anaagibunya ate mutamuteera atayosa ndowooza nammwe mwamulabye. Bobiwine mumuwa obululu yagenda otukulaakulanya.